Hi, Dan.
Hi,
Nice to meet
nice to
you.
meet you too. Just real quick, I'm representing Geeks Out, and Geeks Out, if you don't know, is a nonprofit that seeks to rally, empower, and promote the queer community and geek culture. So they created and organized the world's largest queer Comic Con, FlameCon, which is happening virtually this August.
Oh, FlameCon, sweet. That's great.
Um, so my first question is going to be for Phil. Uh, the new Fear Street movies notably feature two queer relationships at the very core of the story. What went into making the decision to do that, and what measures did you take to ensure that you got it right?
Oh, well, I mean, to a certain extent, like from the very beginning, it was clear. What's the right way to answer this question right now? I'm
Well,
sorry,
I
I'm
think
just
that,
sort of
like,
stumbling.
I don't know, for me, we talked about making a classic slasher movie in the whole trilogy, but there needed to be a reason to do it now. And so we thought that one of the opportunities we had was to have better representation.
Yeah, there's also the Fear Street books, they don't have any overt queer representation in them, as rich as they are in everything else horror. They're very much products of their time in that sense. But there is a great geek fan culture out there that follows the Fear Street books and like catalogs like the nitty gritty details of each, like these blogs that show like they catalog like the fashion trends and the kinds of kills and track the body counts, and right up there with all that stuff there are these lists of like all the homoerotic undertones in the books, right? So for us, in part, this was like a chance to make that canon. And once it became clear to us really early on that our producers were behind that and supportive of that, we were like, okay, great, let's go.
Okay. Um, Great. And the next question then I have is for Lee. So the horror genre, as you have just talked about, has a long history of problematic or altogether lacking representation when it comes to both queer people and of people of color. And each of these three movies features some pretty dark themes and some gruesome murders. I guess, how did you balance these concerns while still putting these characters through hell? Um,
I think that we basically, one of the things that allowed us to do that was having the three movies. We had time to kind of really with the characters and their relationships and take them and do things that we normally wouldn't have been able to do. So we think we would have had to kill more people sooner, for instance, if we were in the box of just one movie. So being able to tell this story over three generations, to kind of investigate things of themes of generational trauma, systemic rot. We built the idea that Shadyside is a place of outsiders into the narrative. And then by doing that, it allowed us to kind of live with these characters that were underrepresented.
okay. And so I also noticed that each film is set in a different time period, obviously from the titles, but it gives them each distinct look and feel. What were there different movies or different styles that influenced you for each of the three stories, putting them together?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, when we were doing the '90s movie and we were writing the '90s movie, we looked at Scream more than anything else. You can see that all over the movie. We're shamelessly paying homage to it, I would say. But also, the other great kind of slashers of the mid '90s. I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty, and then when we got into the '70s, we looked a lot at Friday the 13th. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, which I think is one of the greatest slasher movies of all time. And then 1666 is different because it's a tonal shift. Obviously, it's a lot more serious. It's darker. The horror comes from suspense. When we were writing, and then ultimately when we were filming, I looked, of course, at The Witch, The Village, The Crucible, and then Terrence Malick's The New World, which is not a horror movie,
Okay.
but kind of is, but not really.
I mean, it doesn't need to be a horror movie to be an influence, though.
Exactly.
So, speaking of, I guess, going back to influences, Phil, this might be for you, and also Lee, feel free to chime in if this is something you thought about too. I like the way that the movies blended the kind of slasher horror style of the main Fear Street books with the more supernatural aspects that were in like the Cheerleaders trilogy and the Fear Street Saga trilogy. How did you decide which books to draw from with such a huge canon of work to start with?
Yeah, I mean, well, part of that decision we based really just, I mean, you look at like the iconic installments of a franchise that huge, right? When you're trying to figure out what you think fans will like want to see reinterpreted for the screen. So Cheerleaders was obviously a really natural place to go for that. Things like The Wrong Number, that was like the first big bestseller in the Fear Street series. And then the things like there's actually like a really limited amount of them that tackle sort of the origins of Fear Street, right? It's that Fear Street Saga trilogy that talks about the sort of like history of the Good and the Fear families in town. And then we pulled stuff from all over the place otherwise, right? Just to get like some of the different settings, right? There's so many things in Fear Street that just, I mean, it's like basically everything that happens in like teenage suburban life is in those books somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
which is really daunting.
Yeah.
And really scary because it's like there's so much. So yeah, agreed. It was hard. It was hard to figure it out. But like you said, we started with those big touchstones and then kind of just like, we spent a lot of time just talking about how to preserve the spirit of the books as we kind of like would change our story or create a new story and kind of update it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I really like the way that it kind of blended together. And so.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks.
Good work.
Thank you. Thank you.
So another question for both of you. Have there been any plans yet for future spin-offs or sequels that either of you have been involved with? Or not involved with that you know of?
Let's just say, I think that we all loved like kind of living in the universe of Fear Street. I don't know what exactly is going to be next, but for me, for us, I think we talked about a lot of the possibility of evil still exists in Shady Side. So there's a lot that still could be done. So that's all I think that we should really say.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well.
Okay, so I can't get too much more information there. But
good try, though. Good try.
I mean, you gave enough to be the talk is happening, and that'll be, I think,
that's right.
For,
that's
for
right.
Fans. Now, another one for either of you. Did you have any particular favorite moment in making these movies?
Oh man, you want me to go? I don't know. My favorite moment was the bread slicer. I'm going to be honest. It was incredible writing that. It was incredible planning that. I remember having arguments with my art department they were like, a human head can't go through a bread slicer. And I was like, first of all, we're making a movie with undead killers, A. And then B, let's put a watermelon through this bread slicer and see what happens. And it was perfect. And then they were like, there's no hair on the watermelon. And I was like, what are you fucking talking about? Who cares? And so anyways, filming that was incredible. It took a very long time to get everything right. And then ultimately we knew that we were going to have the effects also helping us. But it was a real testament to our actress, Julia, who plays Kate, because she was just able to preserve this awful, guttural, like I'm at the edge, I'm going to die here moment over hours and hours of filming. So that to me, it was so fun. It was perfect.
For my part, I think I'm probably going to go back and fill out an answer to one of your other earlier questions, because for me, I think the most important thing about these movies is what we were able to do with queer representation in them in a genre. So just for me, like that moment is just getting to tell these stories, right? Like horror as a genre has like a long and complicated history with queer representation, but for the most part, the only way we get to see ourselves is as either tragic victims or as monsters, or like when you're really lucky, some like sympathetic combination of those two things, right? I really wanted to do like the kind of movie that I would have liked to have, that I could have seen myself in more than just the subtext when I was like a young queer kid in the closet. So hopefully providing that for someone else when they need it, that's the most important thing about these for me.
Oh my God, your answer's so much better than mine.
Oh, they were both great. And I'm getting flagged to wrap up. So thank you so much for your time and for talking with me. And
thank you.
I'm looking forward to these movies coming out in the world, getting to appreciate them. So
awesome.
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Good to meet you. Bye.
Thank you.